Today I also want to talk about cerebral palsy. On the links there will be links of different types of cerebral palsy. There are two types, major types. There is the tight cerebral palsy, which the tight is the most common. That is when the muscles pretty well are tightened up. You would see a lot of people in wheelchairs with the wrist like this, or someone like the wrist or like bent in a lot of the time. That's from the cerebral palsy, and a lot of people with cerebral palsy are wheelchair bound. And I am so fortunate that I don't have the tight cerebral palsy. I have the loose. Now I'm going to talk more about the loose because I experience it, I've lived with it. I don't know much about the tight. I have a friend that has tight cerebral palsy, but we don't talk a lot. I mean, I don't see him a lot. So I don't really know as much about that as I do what I live with. So I was born with cerebral palsy. People are born with this. With cerebral palsy, it gets worse over the years without physical therapy. There are stuff you can do to lessen the pain. Yes, you do have pain with it a lot. For example, my back's been out. That's the cause of it. I sprained my ankles about, I would say at least 5 times out of the year. And we're talking bad sprains just from walking around or moving the foot wrong. I have my left foot, which does not go in the whole way straight as my right foot does, which is a little bit of the cerebral palsy, tight kind. But the muscles are so tight in the foot that it stays to the side that's not straight. It's like this. And also the main thing that a lot of people can tell is my speech. Yes. The loose cerebral palsy and any type of cerebral palsy affects the speech. The tongue is a muscle, and in turn that with my loose cerebral palsy, my tongue is very loose and cannot pronounce the letters and pronunciations as anyone else can. And my kitten snuck in the room, and that's why I'm holding the camera where she doesn't knock this one over and break it like she did the last one. But yeah, it does bite them with loose, but I would rather have loose cerebral palsy than I would tight and be wheelchair bound. And people with cerebral palsy, the main mistake with that is they think people with cerebral palsy are dumb and have MR, which MR is not dumb. These people just learn differently than us, and I'm not saying that people with developmental disabilities are any less than us, but you understand what I mean. People think that people with cerebral palsy are dumb and don't understand things. And my friend Brian that I see once in a while that has a cerebral palsy, he has no MH and no MR. And he went to college in Susquehanna University and got a degree in political science, which is great. If you don't know, Susquehanna University is a big school around where I live. It's a loyal school, a lot of lawyers go there, and he finished. So if you have cerebral palsy, a person with cerebral palsy does not mean that they're going to be dumb and stupid. With tight as well with loose sometimes, but mine's not as bad as my friends. Tight cerebral palsy, they tend to drool a lot, and that is why people think that for some reason, that they're dumb. It's the muscles again that cerebral palsy will attack. All the muscles in a person's body will either make them tight or loose. And not only do I sprain my ankles a lot, my lower back will continue to, and I go to a specialist, will continue to break down, will continue to get worse. And I had to go to him once a month to have my back checked, and I go to a chiropractor to get it set. But I need it. And people with cerebral palsy had to live their whole lives going to therapy, having to live their whole lives, working on the muscles. Simple things that people take for granted, we can't. We have to deal with. speech is a big problem. Just because I have a speech impediment from the cerebral palsy, people look at me differently and think, okay, he has a disability, so he must be different. And they will talk to my mom instead of me when I'm standing right there in front of them. And that way ticks me off. But, you know, it's just the stigma of people with cerebral palsy thinking that they are, you know, disabled, that they are, you know, dumb, which is not true. And yes, I do have a speech impediment, and a lot of people with cerebral palsy do, like I said, but that's not who we are. You know, we are the person that we are. And if you have cerebral palsy and you're watching this, I'm doing this for all my, you know, people that have cerebral palsy. And please make a video response if you do or not on what you think about this subject. And if you think I did a good job or not. I try my best, okay? And that's the best that I can explain it, that we had to deal with a lot of muscle weakness or muscle tightness, a lot of injuries. We're prone to injuries because our muscles are either tight or weak. A lot of people with loose cerebral palsy like myself are prone to a lot of muscle injuries, sprains, not only, like I said, my ankles, my back, my shoulders, which is part of the back also, but my wrist also hurt a lot at the time. And we're also prone to some, a lot of us with the loose are actually prone to tendonitis a lot of the time with your wrist and your muscles. And like I said, I don't know about the tight, so I can't really say all of us, but most of us that I would say, perhaps, on both sides. So the only difference between basically tight cerebral palsy and loose cerebral palsy is the word itself, loose and tight.